What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John, and today we're working on the Turbo Mustang. Big block Chevrolet, single turbo. We're going radial racing this weekend. Local track, Thunder Valley's got a radial race. Cheap entry, it's either free or $100 entry. So we're gonna go jump in it. Just cranked the car up. It hadn't been cranked in a week and a half or so. Fired right up, no issues. It's nice and warm outside, so that's a good thing. Everything seems to be okay. Let me show you what we're changing. We're working on the back of the car. We've got Landram rear springs. I've never had any Landram rear springs. I've got Landram springs on the front. We got these from TRS, Thomas Racing Service. On these front struts, they have 16-inch and they're 70 pounds, but they are like bigger in the middle. I didn't know that was the only company that did that, but apparently so. But so we got 60-pound springs in the back now. We're putting 50 pounds on it. What I'm trying to do is get the spring to compress a little bit more, the way it is now with no preload on it. I'll crawl under there and show you. Basically, I've got like almost 2 inches of shaft showing out of the actual body of the shock. Got a 7-inch stroke QA1 Pro Mod Series shock in the back. And so if it's got 2 inches sticking out, technically you ain't got 5 inches of separation. So trying to get that a little bit more, want another inch or so. So let's see if it works out. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but this is generally the way it works. Check it out. Comment, like, and subscribe. Appreciate it, guys. All right, guys. So working on this thing, Landram Springs. And like I was saying, I got some on the front. These are Landrams on the front of the car. And they are, see how they're 2.5, but then they're bigger right here in the middle. That's the same way these are. I think they call them a variable rate or something. The part number is VB, whatever that stands for. But that's a 50. But also notice, that one says 50, that one says 49, and that one says 50. So they actually come with paperwork too. So look at the paperwork on these. And you know, it's a spring, so nothing's ever going to be exactly perfect, but it should be pretty close, right? So this one right here, if you look at it, it tells you like how much when they compress it, the force, and all that good stuff. So that one's technically like 50.91. So I would probably call that one a 51. And then this one, they're calling it a 49. And then when you look at the rate here, 48.79. And they actually, same thing. So they've got the nice little marks on them here. Landram got 50, but they also engrave it on the end. So it's 49. And I do that on all of my springs too, because you know, the ones that are here on the sides, I mean, that stuff is just paint, and it will black out and get rusty and wipe off. So you're good. So that one says 49. This one says 50. Actually, see, the spring says actually 52. Well, it's not that. It's technically 51 is what I would call it. But, you know, 51, 52. We know this one's a little heavier. So, actually, that may be a 0. No, that's a 2. That looks like a 2. So, but yeah. So, I think that is very interesting. No other spring company that I have ever purchased springs from have a piece of paper where they actually tell you what it is. Oh yeah, look, average rate right there, 51.67. That's how they got 52 on that one. And then this one over here, the average is 49.10. So yeah, so 49 and 50, 52. So let me show you what we got under the car. All right, so here is the QA1 Mod Series, and you see how it's got a lot of shaft showing out the back. We got these Scarlet Solutions shock sensors in the back, and it's about 2 inches of travel right there. So we want to make it better. We want to do it better. There's no preload on this, and what I mean by no preload is when the rear end is completely hanging, the shock, that collar is just barely up high enough so that it keeps the spring from falling out when it's fully extended. So you have to have something there. Some shocks, some companies, if they have a real long travel, they have a real thin helper spring and like a little slider. But I was going to buy that, but then I found some 50-weight springs, and when you do the math, these are 60-pound springs. So going to a 50, this ought to drop it about 1 inch just by doing that. So we're going to check it out. We're going to change it, and then we're going to drop it, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you also what my shock sensor is reading right now versus what it's going to read with the new sensor. Hang on, let me get my computer real fast. All right, so I got the laptop hooked up. I just pushed down on the back of the car, and you see the back sensor height right now is 2.1 inches high. So when I get in the car, of course, it drops down a little bit, so it's right at 2 inches out. So let's jack it up. And so when you When you change them, it's pretty easy to change them, but it's going to drop here too. So once it drops there, actually that may be a good ride height, or I can move the shock up on the bracket there on the rear end to get the ride height back here. But honestly, I'm thinking we might want to lower it, and we also might want to lower the front as well, which I can do that. Lower front end, generally lower center of gravity point, should make it harder to wheelie. Remember, we changed all the bar angles. I kind of gave y'all a brief overview of that, but with the bars, now the bottom bar is just barely going uphill, and if it drops down, then we'll remeasure it. And of course, that's going to take a little bit of anti-squat out of it, which is good. The top bar's got a lot of angle in it. Before, the bottom bar had a lot of angle in it coming up, and the top bar did not have a lot of angle, but it was separating violently. And what we think was happening is with the top bar pointing up so strong that when the car started separating the rear end, that was pushing the back of the car up. So let's do that real fast. Let's measure it in the front, measure it in the back, and put it up on jack stands. And then we're going to change those back springs real quick. Hang on. Here is what I'm talking about when I say there's no preload on it. See how loose they are? They are very loose. And for those of you that pointed out in Keith's video, we did have the spanners on upside down. They were on the shock just in shipping, and I didn't look at them. So this is pretty easy. Take these Scarlet Solution extensions off. There's these canisters, and all I've got to do is loosen the front up there, the top. I can loosen the top, spin this down, and when this is down, it has no pressure on it. And then I can easily take the top piece off over here. Oh man, that Scarlet Solution light is bright. So literally, it comes down, the top piece comes out, and then you're set. Now, some shocks have this so that it's encapsulated, but what I was talking about, if you don't have that little helper spring in there, then what ends up happening is it fully extends, it does this, and then these fall out. I've had that happen on my old car. And so then you're good. So, well, you're not good because it's bad. So the other thing that is interesting, see the body of the shock's got some wear marks there? Now that's not from these, but this other spring, this Landram spring, it is bigger. I'll show you side by side, and then that should prevent this from happening. That happened when I had a lot of weight in it and the spring was a little too soft, and then it caused it to do this. Hang on, let me just take that top. I'll go ahead and change them real fast, and I'll show you the difference. I'll take one off and show you the difference side by side. Hang on. All right, so here is a comparison directly side by side, exactly the same height. Both of them are 14 inches. Actually, that was a tad higher, but not much. And then, but you can see the difference down in there. It's kind of hard to tell. Notice this is 50, but it's got a lot fewer coils. This one has a lot more coils, and it's got to do with the wire and all that stuff. But the interesting thing, I'll show you in a second. Let me get the other one changed. Literally like 5 minutes in, changed one already. And this bigger body here does a much better job giving you clearance on the shock. Hang on. All right, so just that easy. We got those changed out. This is back on. The Scarlet Solution sensor is back on. And there is substantially more clearance in between here and there. So let's jack it up. Let's see. Let me jack it up while we're under here and see how they compress. All right, guys. Well, I just got down on the ground. I had it on time lapse, but apparently I forgot to hit time lapse. So I just squatted it down in the bottom. And so that's the difference between a 50-pound spring and a 60-pound spring. So it dropped it in the back about 3/4 of an inch. So yeah, so that is, man, that's not terrible. Let's crawl up under there and see. So that gives us 3/4 of an inch more. If we leave the ride height here, it gives us 3/4 of an inch more travel on the back shock before it tops out. We probably do need to lower the front down a little bit. It's technically level right now if you measure the fenders. It was before a little raked, so probably we should lower the front, which is going to make it more challenging to get in and out of the trailer. Let me show you under the back.
All right, so here is now the shock body arms, and you see how there is only about an inch out of it right now. So that is about perfect. That spring compressed, and it looks like it actually may have given a little bit more clearance. So maybe as these springs compress, they might fatten out a little bit, because you can for sure get your fingers in there a little bit more. It's way off of the body, which is a good thing. So now we've gained, so now we have, there was a spider on me. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump. It kind of startled me. There it is. We've gained about 3/4 of the inch of travel in the back. We may raise it up. We're going to recalculate it, replot it, and see what we got.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We're going drag racing this weekend. Come check us out. If you're close, we'll be at Red Springs, Thunder Valley. Unless something happens, weather is always kind of spotty. There's a lot of racing happening. If something happens, we may go somewhere else. But I'll try to let you know. Appreciate it, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe. See y'all.